The abundance of God is limitless. It knows no bounds. God has provided me abundantly with so many things. A reliable car, a great home, a great roof over my head, a wonderful job that helps me to serve Him. I had never really thought about the abundance of gifts that God had given me in my life until I started having children. You have one child, and just the love that pours out of you for that child. It reminds me of the love that God has for us. But you find that it never ends. Then perhaps you have a second child, and you realize that not only can you love the first as much, but you love the second as well. Then a third, and then maybe 4 or 5 children, however many you have. Your love never ends for them. There's so much love to be given to them, and it's given abundantly. And where do we learn that? We learn that from God. God gives us graces abundantly. It overflows. Our hope overflows. Our joy overflows. Our cup overflows. Scripture tells us so many times of the overflowing of the graces of God. One story in Scripture that reminds me of how abundantly God gives is the story of David and Goliath. You know, in David, you have this ruddy, handsome youth who'd been tending sheep and fighting off wolves and bears his whole life, going up against this huge, fierce warrior giant in Goliath. And he tells Goliath, God will deliver you into my hands. So David goes down into the wadi, a dry stream bed, and finds 5 smooth stones with which to use in his sling. And if you're familiar with this story of David and Goliath, you know that it only takes one. David fells the giant with 1 stone that embeds in his forehead. But God provided him with 5, with more than enough to accomplish the task. And so I think that's important for us to realize, that God will always provide us with more than enough to accomplish His tasks. And I think the sooner that we can get on board with that, and the sooner that we can realize the abundant graces that God pours out on us, the easier it is to start to give back.